Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking more about JT Miller. Yes, 4 hours ago or 5 hours ago, we were with Young Static and Trevor Beggs, talking about many reasons why JT Miller is still going to be JT Miller next season. And here I am, hours and hours and hours later, doing that again. And that's because I got more to say for the people here on Locked On Canucks. Yes, Locked On Canucks, the show that gives you your Canucks every day, brought to you by the people at the Don't Doze Art Lab, okay, for real. Taking care of the West Coast buys and the neighbors here in Vancouver without this place. We're not recording the show. We're not overkilling this JT Miller narrative, right? And what's that narrative, okay? The importance of this guy still being a 100-point guy, defeating Father Time, continuously allows, again, your Canucks to not only just be good, but be contenders. It's so important. One of the specialty players in hockey. Very rare to see what this guy does, to see the way he plays, to turn into a really good two-way player, to be a guy who lays the body, puts his heart on his sleeve every day at work, and a guy who can put up 100 points. Not a lot of players like that guy. He's on your Canucks, and again, at the age of 31 and a half years old, there's a lot of people out there doubting JT Miller. A lot of people not giving him that credit and assuming the best. And it's a little odd because over the last 5 years, he's a top 10, top 8 scorer in the National Hockey League. And look at the numbers over the past 5 years. They've gone up across the league when it comes to scoring. And that dude, who's 31 and a half years old, who looks like a grizzled veteran, is so damn good, so damn dynamic, so offensively inclined, and so important to your Vancouver Canucks. Anywho, on this little ramble, I'll give you 3 more reasons. Yes, 3 more reasons why he's going to succeed. If you want more reasons, go listen to the episode we dropped 4 hours ago. Reason number 1. He's playing with Brock Boeser again. And Brock Boeser is a UFA. And Brock Boeser is a 40-goal scorer. And Brock Boeser has a lot to prove. And did I mention he's a UFA? That's his line mate. Those two showed a lot of chemistry. That being said, I've said it time in and time out. I feel as if they're still leaving a lot of flair off the table, right? They got a lot of bump and grind to their game, positionally sound, cerebral players, get the job done. But again, that sexiness, that chemistry, that intuitiveness, I feel as if they're still leaving a lot of that off the table. And this is the year with, again, Boeser being a UFA, where I think, ironically, things tighten up. And they play a bit more loosely if you do the math and bring more offense to the table. More of a 1-2 punch. More beautiful goals, more bar down possibilities for number 6 and number 9. And what if 6 and 9 have extreme chemistry? Like highlight reel chemistry. They level up. It's a lot more assists and a lot more goals for JT Miller. I think the best is yet to come for Brock Boeser, and another player, again, that has a lot to prove. Look at the way he went out last year. This dude, time in and time out, having life challenge him. And time in and time out, he perseveres. And once again, during a UFA year, a big year for his family, a big year for himself, a big year for his future, I feel as if he does it once again. And that's put himself on the map. And yeah, add more pedigree to JT Miller's game by doing so. Because, you're a byproduct of the people you're around. And if you want to know more about the flair that I'm talking about, the flair that's missing, I feel as if, again, Brock Boeser scored 40 goals, and he scored 40 goals the right way. He did all those things. That being said, Look at the highlights from Brock Besser's rookie year. That's flair. That's excitement. And I feel as if that's still missing. We know JT Miller has that flair. What if Brock Besser brings that to, again, I think those two can top what they did last season, which I feel as if is not being talked about here on the West Coast, the best coast of Canada. On the episode 4 hours ago, we talked about the third guy on that line. Who's that going to be? I don't know if it matters that much. Again, if Brock Besser levels up. The second reason why I think JT Miller will continue to be that dog, that guy in the room, the best center on this team, the same team that has Elias Pettersson. These offensive players, when they pick up points, they play better. And there's a lot of points left off the table for a 100-point player when the power play he's on sucks. And that's what happened last season. In the second half of the season, that power play was so boring, atrocious, momentum killing. It was so bad that it made the 5-on-5 play, sometimes afterwards, dull. Because again, those things, when they go the wrong way, stop groove. And if that fixes itself, within that player group and Jake DeBrusk, right? Pettersson, Besser, Hughes, Miller, and DeBrusk, I feel as if there's a new layer of stat padding that will, connect well with everything JT Miller. Again, offensive players love picking up points, and there's a lot more points to be picked up if that power play wakes the F up. Now, I wonder if like JT Miller, and I was so adamant on having this be the case, right? I always wanted to have JT Miller on the left side of that power play. I think he's so elite with his playmaking and the way he shoots the puck off that side of the ice on the power play. That being said, he was there for the majority of the second half, slotted in that position, and the power play sucked. I think it has more to do with Pettersson sleeping in the second half and having tendonitis, and Hughes overall just taking a step back with the shot. But, everyone has to be accountable, and maybe, just maybe, JT Miller plays another position on that power play this season, and it works. And overall, though, I feel as if maybe there'll just be more movement. All in all, though, Miller, man, a lot more points to be picked up if that power play, that PP, lives up to its name. The third reason why I think Miller is going to continue to one-up himself. Prove people wrong. Miller got all the way up to 100 points after having 80 the year prior. That's a 20-point upgrade in his 30s. I don't know about you, but in 2024, I heard that 30-year-olds are like the new 76-year-olds. This is not supposed to happen, and he did just that. Speaking of which, JT Miller, this noise, some of the noise. Talking about potential JT Miller regression based on, again, age, the cliff. How many more peak JT Miller years do we have left? With the people talking about that, or just, again, the whole father time reference in sports being about. JT Miller's the right guy to completely ignore that noise, because I feel as if he ignores all noise. He's in his own world. He plays by his own rules. He's focused on being the best version of himself. Not a lot of distractions in that guy's life. Getting older, getting wiser, and not understanding or giving time to whatever the F father time is. And with that being said, there was a comment on the earlier episode, and this sounds extremely crazy. Extremely crazy. I'll put that on a shirt. But somebody brought up how JT Miller could age like Sidney Crosby. And let's talk about that for a couple of minutes, because, again, the concern about the 8-year deal was the production and the level of production that JT Miller would give in years like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 of that deal. And now we're on year 2. There's some, again, naysayers saying that he can't get back to 100 points. I strongly disagree. But there's a lot of people that are guaranteeing the fact that he won't be able to even get close to 90 or 88 or 95 as he ages, right? 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. And again, I strongly disagree because there is a level of dynamic skill and intuition that this guy has with the game, especially when he's on a groove. He's playing on a team with good goaltending. He's playing on a team with Quinn Hughes for years and years and years to come. Oh, yeah, and Pedersen as well. There's a lot of ways to feed his ego, his offensive ego here. And if he keeps himself in shape, which I feel as if Rick Tocchet is not going to let that guy slip off, there's a way for, again, JT Miller on a good power play to still pick up a lot of points, to still feel himself. And think about this, right? Not to crack a joke or make fun of the guy, but I feel as if he just started playing two-way hockey this season. Well, this past season. I'm trying to say, again, I'm doing the math. His legs, there's a lot of room on the timetable left for those legs to give out, okay? Because again, he just started skating in the defensive zone. And points aside, the fact that this guy did transition himself into a pretty good, if not good, I'm not going to say great, but a pretty good 100-point two-way player. Not perfect, can get better. I'm curious to see if he can do that again in the defensive zone. But the fact that he did that allows me to believe that, again, anything is possible with this player. Because that looked to be impossible. And Rick Tocchet and him are on the same page. You coincide that with the fact that this dude is not a winner yet, but his appetite for winning is at an all-time high. I feel as if that won't stop until he's like 42 or maybe 39. I guess what I'm trying to say is it won't stop during this contract that he just signed with the Vancouver Canucks. I think he's going to be a really good player for a really good time. And I mean, people like to bring up the whole Joe Pavelski thing. Maybe he can be like a 30 goal, 70-point guy for years and years and years to come as he gets into his mid-30s. But there's a good chance that he's still a 90-point guy during that time. And no, that's not because he's Sidney Crosby. It's because he's JT Miller. The last point I'll make is, again, the chance that the Canucks and this organization and their philosophy about putting the puzzle pieces together and playing with structure and being tough to play against is something that's ingrained in their DNA, in the fabric of this team, in the culture of this team. And it doesn't have to be so heavily taught, leaving room for more offense in practice, right? More mojo in practice, more grooviness in preparation. Maybe this team loosens up a lot. And that allows JT Miller to feel himself because, we can spend all this time, again, talking about his two-way ability and him being so important in a lot of areas of the ice. But, man, oh, man, you can tell he feels himself and he's a completely different player when he's padding the stats. And over the last 5 years, he sort of has done just that. And last year, he puts up 100 points. And I'm here thinking that he can do that again, plus add another 15 to the total, which sounds crazy. But again, he's playing with UFA Brock. The power play is going to get better. He's a damn good player. And now Tocchet's talking about playing offense and a lot of it. Again, bodes well for the number one center for your Vancouver Canuck. Did I say Vancouver Canuck? Vancouver Canucks. Hey, it's 420 somewhere. Imagine that, though, right? Your best center is JT Miller, not Elias Pettersson. But on any given game, Elias Pettersson can top him in that regard. And that's a beautiful sight. Like JT Miller and Elias Pettersson down the middle. If the Canucks can't win a Stanley Cup with those two being elite, bro, dude, if the Canucks don't win a Stanley Cup with those two, I'm not eating fast food again. You heard it here. No, for real. I'm getting to 130 years old. I'm buying more years because I need to see this team win a Stanley Cup. Let's get to a few comments before we get out of here. Another quick episode. Boom, bam. Just had to get more thoughts off on, again, the most important Canuck on this team. Knucklehead saying, what's good, KB? Life's a blessing, man. Early this morning, I let traffic get to me. Had a pretty bad episode, whatever that means. Again, 5 hours ago. Forgot about all these things I want to say in that episode and had to do this. All in all, though, life is good. And I promise not to let traffic get in the way. Or what do they say, right? If you let traffic get in the way, what did Deepak Chopra say? If you let traffic get in the way, you're always going to be in a rush. What does that mean? I don't know. Look at this comment from Syndicate, okay? Kreider. Yes, Chris Kreider is playing his best hockey in his 30s. Yeah, great point. And just look at this talent he's surrounded by. And look at who he's playing with directly on his line on most nights. It could happen for players that have just great instincts. Lloyd saying, thank you for your summer hype with the new season upcoming. Yeah, man, just addicted to the Canucks. Addicted to the Canucks. It's just easy. You're welcome, though, man. One love, man. Thank you for being here. A great comment from Corey Williamson, okay, an Oilers fan. He's saying that this Canucks rivalry will be strong for the next decade, okay? And that's, again, a beautiful comment because there's a lot of truth in that, and the truth sets you free, and that is, again, just facts. The greatest rivalry in hockey moving forward will be the Oilers versus the Canucks. Again, they just signed Draisaitl. They extended him, which means McDavid's sticking around. It's going to be a battle for years and years and years and years and years and years to come. And it's going to be tough to win that battle. Which will make the wins way more satisfying. Speaking of winning, okay, Anthem is saying winning the cup takes so much luck. It does. It does. But it's a lot easier to buy that luck, purchase that luck, fall into that luck when, again, Pettersson and Miller are going at the same time down the middle. And I'm pretty certain that we really haven't seen that for like a 80-game stretch, let alone a 20-game stretch in the playoffs with, again, Pettersson and Miller playing center on separate lines. Like, it's just something that we haven't seen yet. And I think it's possible. It's more than possible. And it's going to unlock a whole new level of Vancouver Canucks hockey. Rick Tocchet, just a hockey nerd. Adam Foote, a hockey nerd. Sergei Gonchar, a hockey nerd. Henrik and Daniel, a hockey nerd. Or hockey nerds. The Yogi guy, the assistant coach, a hockey nerd. They have people to play with here. Like, they can tickle their hockey fancy here because they have so much skill to play with. And when, again, Miller and Pettersson do their thing at the same time, I think that coaching staff will unlock a new philosophy or a new culture to build around with, again, everything your Vancouver Canucks, because a lot of teams can't say they have that. I mean, a few can, but a lot, like 90% of the league, 95% of the league, they don't got that. 98% of the league. It feels like that. Last comment goes to Infamous again, okay? They say that luck is just preparation meeting opportunity. And yeah, it's a lot of that. There's a lot of truth to that. I also think you got to buy your own luck too. But speaking on the whole preparation thing, look at the leadership. Alvin, Tocchet, Rutherford, etc. Hey, speaking of preparation, what has JT Miller been doing all summer? Again, he's always on the low, never listening to the noise, and that's why he's going to be strong for a very long time. I'm out of here, though, okay? KYLEBHAWAN. My name is Kyle Bowen. That was another episode of Locked On Canucks. Went longer than it was supposed to be. One love to all our sponsors. One love to all our fans. I'll say it again. One love to all our fans. And I'll say it again. One love to all our people, man. You and you and you and you making two dreams, or a lot of dreams, come true, if my math is correct. And one love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for giving us the space. Have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good night. If you're not watching this live, then we don't know when you're watching this. But hey, we truly do appreciate it. Peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.